A town is full of buildings, some tall, some short, some wide, and some narrow. The buildings are flats and houses and factories and shops. They're built in streets. The streets have cars and buses and lorries driving along them. The cars and buses and the streets are full of people. In fact, there are a lot of people in a town. Do you live in a town? Mary, Mungo, and Midge live in this town. They live with Mary's mother and father in this tall block of flats. They live right at the top. There are 8 flats built on top of each other. Mary, Mungo, and Midge live in the flat with the flowers growing in the window box. There's Mary, there's Mungo, and there's Midge. Mary, Mungo, and Midge have a large sunny room to play in, a room full of games and toys and picture books. But Mary isn't at home at the moment. She's gone to see the new house her aunt has just moved into. It's so quiet, with Mary away, that Mungo is having an afternoon nap. At least, it was quiet. Yes, it's Midge Mouse. Midge, I don't think it's a very good idea to play your flute yet. Midge, you'll wake him up.
Midge Mouse, I was having a lovely dream.
You were snoring. It was a horrible noise.
It could have been no worse than the sound of your music.
Well, I like that.
Anyway, now that you have woken me up, I think I'll go for a walk to meet Mary and her mother.
You don't know where they've gone.
But Mungo did know. He'd heard Mary's father say the new house was along the river and down the main road. Mungo often went for a walk by himself. He just had to bark to let Mary's father know he wanted to be let out. As they live in a flat right at the top of the building, they go down to the street by the lift. Mungo is quite big enough to work the lift by himself.
Oh, well, I hope you do meet Mary.
Left on his own, Midge was thoroughly enjoying himself. First, a ride round the playroom to see what he could find. While Midge was riding, Mungo was walking away from the flats, along the river, towards the bridge. Midge drove up to Mary's toy yacht. Pity there was no water in the room to sail it. Mungo saw a real yacht as he stopped for a moment by the river. Midge was enjoying himself. He liked driving the toy car. Mungo wasn't so sure that he did like cars or lorries or buses. The real ones were so big. Midge wasn't so keen on cars either now. Mungo wanted to cross the street. He looked up and saw a beacon flashing. That meant there was a zebra crossing there. Mungo knew it was safer to cross the road on a zebra crossing. It's just as well you weren't driving a real car on a real road, Midge. The bumper's broken. Now what are you going to do? Mungo had crossed the main road. Now all he had to do was to walk until he found the new house. But he's not going the right way. Mungo, go back. Turn round. You're walking the wrong way. Mary is home again.
Midge, Mungo, where are you?
I'm here, but Mungo isn't. He went for a walk to meet you.
We came back by bus. Oh, well, I expect Mungo will come home soon. Why are you standing by the car like that, Midge?
But Mungo was still trying to find Mary. He walked and he walked. The new house couldn't be as far away as this. Mary was probably at home by now. He'd take a short cut along the river to the flats. But you've never seen this part of the river before, Mungo? And those aren't your flats, are they? They look quite different. Mungo was beginning to realize he didn't know where he was. He was lost. He didn't know where he was or how to get home.
The car's all right now. Please don't break it again, Midge. Mungo should have been home by now.
I'll go and look for him.
Don't get lost.
Midge isn't big enough to get the lift by himself, so he ran down the stairs. Mungo had decided to give himself up as lost. A policeman would know where he lived. Hello, dog. What's the matter? You look worried. What's your name? Oh, your name is Mungo. And your address is... Why, you live in those new flats right across the river. That's a long way. You'll never find your way back there on your own. I'll take you. Midge had run from the flats along the river to the main road. He saw the cars and buses and lorries, and they seemed even bigger and noisier to him than they had to Mungo. But he couldn't see Mungo anywhere. Midge remembered his own car crash. Perhaps Mungo had had an accident. When people have accidents, they sometimes have to go to hospital to be made better. Mungo was a dog. Dogs were animals. Ah, there was the animal hospital. Perhaps Mungo's in here, thought Midge. I'd better go inside and see. Midge stood on the door handle and looked in. There were 3 dogs there, but none of them looked a bit like Mungo. Poor dog, he's hurt his leg. And he's hurt his eye.
Hic.
He's got hiccups.
Hic. Hic. Hic.
Hic. Hic. Hic. Oh, well, anyway, Mungo must be all right. Where else might he have gone? Mungo had gone home. At least, the policeman had taken him home. "I believe this dog, Mungo, lives here. He was lost, so I brought him home."
Oh, thank you, thank you. Mungo, I'm so glad you're back.
Midge, of course, didn't know Mungo was safe at home. He was still looking for him.
Where do animals go? Where do they live? I know, the pet shop. There are quite a lot of animals living there.
Midge knew the pet shop well, because Mary's mother went there to get food for Mungo and for him. So he jumped up onto the door and looked inside. There was a dog having his hair cut and clipped, but it wasn't Mungo. It was a poodle. Midge looked round the rest of the shop. Perhaps Mungo was in one of the cages, waiting to be sold to a new owner.
No, these dogs are still puppies. Mungo is a grown-up dog. Meow. And he doesn't really like cats, or even kittens, so I don't suppose he's hiding in there. Oh, look. Mice. Like me. Well, not quite like me. They're white. I'm grey. I'm glad I don't live in a shop waiting to be sold. I'm going back to Mary before I get sold to someone.
I wish Midge would come home.
I expect he's lost now.
I'm not lost. I went out to look for you, Mungo. And I found my own way home. I'm clever.
Now, boys. Midge, you were very clever. But Mungo was clever too, because when he did get lost, he went to a policeman, and he had his name and address on him, so the policeman knew where he lived. So you were both clever, and we're all home, safe and sound. There.